Every time you stay home, someone is making a decision about you, making decisions about the air you breathe, the water you drink, the food your kids eat, and how much money you bring home every 2 weeks. So every time you sit out an election, every time you don't show up because you think it doesn't matter, someone else is happy that you didn't show up, so they can make that decision for you. Vote.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to
What a way to get
Tuesday.
It
I'm your host, Sleepy.
And I'm Miss J. You know, that is a great way to get it started with that video.
Into Okay, we're back. I think it cut out for a second. So
yeah, it kind of froze on us. It went,
right. We're talking about voting. They don't like that.
Shut them down.
Right. So just in case it got cut out again, I'm your host, Sweet Pea.
And I'm the other host, Miss J. What's up?
Thank you guys for tuning in to another Talk to Me Tuesday. And this day, we're going to be talking about Your Vote Matters and absentee ballots and the importance of voting.
Yes, absolutely. Do I start? I'm so crazy.
Yes, ma'am.
I love this. I love voting, so I had to make sure I calm down. But okay, so voting is really important to me. I love voting. I didn't though. When I was like 19, 18, I walked around with the attitude like, these white people ain't gonna change nothing. I'm not standing no long line. I'm just being honest. No long line to cast no vote and still ain't got nothing.
Right.
And then my godfather, Nate Jackson, he sat down and he talked to me because I had made that comment and he was like offended because he's older.
Yeah, and, right.
Once he broke down some real knowledge and science to me, I was kind of embarrassed. And so from that point on, I never missed the election. But one of the things, I know a lot of people want to talk about the president, running for the 2020, who's going to be the next president. That's really great. We need to be there in November. We need to make sure we make a decision, whatever your decision is. It's not for me to choose for you. However, once we make that decision, what's even more important is who we have in place to back the person that we have put in office.
Yes.
And you know what I'm saying? Like everybody kept saying, Obama's not doing this. Obama couldn't do that. Well, how about we didn't do our part? We didn't have the right people in Congress to back.
Right. Absolutely.
Every time he went to Congress, he had to go through a whole bunch of Republicans and individuals who are not for him. So anything that he tried, it got cut. So I always want to make that clear because I hate when I hear that comment. Oh, Obama didn't do this and do that. Well, we didn't do our part either, because after we elected him, we should have worked on our local officials, and that's kind of where we are gonna. I think I want to go for us is because, like, I'll give you an example. You get these in the mail. Excuse me. You get these in the mail, right? You get all these different people in the mail, right? This is, representative for this. She's running for, what is this? She's state district. She's running, everybody's running for something. Instead of throwing these in the trash, look at them, dissect them. Because these are the people, if you want something to happen, you need to have these people in place.
Right.
You cannot put it all on just the president.
Right. And I think that's missed. When they tell you about voting, they focus on the presidential vote. I was excited to do my first vote because, of course, when I turned old enough to be able to vote, it was the presidential vote. So I was like super excited. I'm like, oh, I'm old enough to vote. But I was not educated on, like Congress elections, midterm elections, judges, all those things.
District attorney.
Yeah, I didn't know. I did not know about that. And like how many other people are told president, but then you're not educated on the other stuff that you should be looking out for.
Exactly.
I didn't know that. I saw the signs in people's yard, but I didn't know what that was for.
Exactly. No, and that's fair. But I think a lot of times we get caught up in the big race.
Yeah.
And so
absolutely.
we don't pay attention to the ones that really matter for us in our communities. Like,
right.
Who's your sheriff? Does he even, does he really serve the whole community, or does he serve part of the community? Judges are really important. If we don't elect the right judge, then whoever goes in, right? So if they have a bias that we don't know about, then our kids are getting incarcerated on a higher level, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we talk about
if we don't know what they stand for or anything.
Nothing. But you never voted, but now you want to complain because the same judge is giving hard sentences to our young men and young women. But you didn't vote.
Right.
So you can't complain about the judge. You let her in, or you let him in. Right?
Yeah.
And then the same thing with jury duty. And I just want to throw this in. I know it's not about elections, but let me tell you about jury duty. They say we're going to be judged by our peers. If we do not show up to jury duty, they're going to be judged by whoever show up. Right. And people have different biases. People know how to get past the jury duty questions and all that. But I think we need to start concentrating on that as well. Being a part of the whole system, not what benefits us or bits and pieces. Because if it's more of our faces in the jury, brown, black, if we're in that part of that jury, we can maybe change some minds about what they perceive us to be. But if none of us are in the jury, they're going to go by TV, the news, or what they think they know.
Exactly. And which is a lot of stuff that they hear in the media, but they don't know for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, so, it's like it says that effective voting allows a community to determine their own destiny. And even with us being present more, just being out there more, even like when you were saying with that, I was kind of taught that if you get jury duty, that you should try to find a way out of it. Like get your job to say you can't do it or whatever. And that's kind of the thing that I know is like common. And even with voting, what's the common thing that you've heard all the time? It's like, oh, well, your vote doesn't matter anyway. So then it's kind of in your mind like, well, why should I even go and vote? Why should I vote for anything? Because it doesn't matter.
Right. Or they say nothing changes. It's always
right. Nothing changes. Exactly.
But nothing changes without movement either. So if you don't move, you can't expect change if you're not moving.
Absolutely.
If you don't do nothing, nothing happens, right? And so when we talk about what's important, like I had a judge, I don't know what I did with his banner, but I looked up, I bet I put his face up there. Anyway, when I looked up his information,
Right, we're like campaigning for him.
Yeah. Oh, but I am campaigning for Angie. Go for Angie. Anyway, when I looked up his information, he had no diversity in who he handled and who he worked with. That makes a difference. If a person has never dealt with brown or black people, how they view us is already pre-perceived, and they don't know how to deal with us. That means the people underneath them are going to treat us according to their leader.
Right.
And we don't pay attention to that. We just keep going on and on and on. We don't pay attention. These are the things that we need to pay attention to. Now, we can't determine what's going to happen in November. Everybody got their, doing their little prayers or whatever, but we don't know. And if people don't show up to vote, you can't complain about what's going to come afterwards, because it will be a laugh. Please believe.
Yes.
Yeah, because a lot of things have happened this year that is going to cause a reflect, chain reaction to other things.
Right. We have had a lot of stuff going on this year that, they're throwing up in the campaigns. And if you don't follow what these people are talking about when they do their campaign rallies, you'll go in there with no idea of who to even vote for. So, I just challenge people to listen to those campaign rallies, listen to what they're saying when they go up there and give their speeches and stuff. What are they for? What are their beliefs? What are their opinions on different things? Like, pay attention to these kind of things. I know it can be boring. Okay. Right. But it's very, in order for you to know and make an informative decision, you have to pay attention to what these people are talking about. Absolutely. When they go up there.
And fact check. I'm not a believer. You can tell me something, and I used to get in trouble when I was younger. You tell me something, I said, I'm going to go see for myself. I was one of them bad kids. I was a bad kid. But when I grew up, it came in handy. Like when someone tells me something, I go, okay, thank you. And then I fact check. I don't take no one on their word. And the reason why I say that is because when it gets to politics, especially, it gets muddy. It gets messy. And the whole objective is to win. So everybody's going to tell what they call a little white lie. Everybody's going to tell one. So for me, it's important to fact check. Even like if I do a post, I fact check. I'll wait days before I put something up. If it's something about somebody else, because I want to fact check it. I don't just want to put it up because everybody else throwing it out there. Yeah. And so we have to be responsible for our own due diligence, period.
Right.
I don't care who it is, what we're voting for, but we have to be responsible for what we want in our community, just like doing the census. Is that how it's pronounced?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people don't do that.
Right.
They just trying to track you. Well, they track you on your cell phone, boo.
Right. Yes. I mean, let's talk about the census, okay?
Yes. So for you not to do that is just like crazy for me.
Right. If you want things to change in your community and you want better schooling and you want closer bus stops and you want things to change, you have to do the census. Like all this conspiracy theory stuff is holding us back. Okay. Like they're trying to check us so they can know how many people are in your house. Like, are they going to come shut your house down? No, you need them to know that you are there or they're not going to do anything in that community.
Well, not only that, I think for Black folks, and I'm just talking about us, we got a lot of stuff out there. Like you said, dodge jury duty. Get the paper, but don't go. It ain't enough money. I need my paycheck. So, nobody going, what is like back in the day was real cheap, like $5. Someone ain't no real, just gas.
I think it's still, I think I got like $12. They didn't pick me, but I think I got like $12.
Wow, you're rich. So a lot of people don't want to take the cut in the money, but we need to do our part across the board. And so we really do. And we need not to be afraid to do our part across the board. Like that's what we're here for. We can't keep demanding things of other people if we're not going to do our part. We can't keep getting mad because we don't have good schools. We don't have enough supplies in our schools. We don't have good roads. Our roads, we got big holes. We can't complain about bus stops. Getting help, for the seniors and the kids after school programs. We can't complain if we're not doing our part. And we're quick to get mad and throw finger. But are you doing your part? And see, that's where nobody wants to take that responsibility. Like I'm a voting queen. I vote about everything. So, and I don't even have no kids, girl. I'll be all up in the school district. Nope, I got nieces. Nope, I got nieces. So
we need to do that though. I get on my parents as well because, my parents, they don't vote. My grandparents are the reason why I vote is because they told me from a young age, voting is important. But it seems like, my parents skipped that part of it because neither one of them vote. And I'm like, don't complain if you do not vote. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear anything about the president or nothing because you're not even voting. I don't want to hear it. Okay? Absolutely. So don't complain to me. I don't want to hear it.
And usually they're the ones that got the biggest complaints. I cannot believe. I cannot believe. I said, I can't believe you didn't go vote.
But that's my first question. When people complain about certain things, it's like, well, did you vote? Right. And if you say no, I don't want to hear it. Conversation over. Because what can you say?
You can't. So when I was talking to I like her. Miss Angie's team, because I was they wanted me to help. Anyway, I was talking to them. But one of the things that we were talking about was the absentee ballots. This is what they look like, right? What a lot of people are doing is that they're signing this part and they're not signing this part. Oh, I'm probably gonna sold it. I'm sorry. They're only signing. I ain't even good at this. They're only signing part of it, but there's 2 spots, right? See all these spots. Everything has to be signed and completed. And what a lot of people are doing is only doing one signature. Well, you don't. When you only do one signature, they can't count it.
Okay.
So a lot of people, because of coronavirus, are doing absentee ballots. So make sure on the back of that ballot that you sign and fill out everything. Do not leave anything to chance.
Right. Make sure you're checking the entire thing. And I wrote down, just in case people didn't know what an absentee ballot is, because honestly, I did not know what an absentee ballot was. And I thought it was like, if you're in the military or something like that, then that's when you do it. So I'm like, there are probably other people out there like me that did not know what it was. So we definitely need to be telling people. Yes, come on now. Okay. Okay. So the absentee ballot is a vote cast by someone who is unable to attend the official polling station.
Right.
So now that we have Corona and this COVID-19,
right, you
absolutely should be doing the absentee ballot, because that's up in the air. We don't even know about the polling stations or how they're going to do that. So if you're getting that, and then the website where you can get it was, I think it was vote.org or something, but I'll double check that.
Yeah.
Yes, it's vote.org.
Yeah.
Where you can get your absentee ballot.
Yeah. And I encourage people to register. If you don't want to go in, do the absentee.
Right.
Just don't be absent.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Show up. Whether you're showing up through the mail or you feel like going out and voting, in the booths or whatever your choice is, that's up to you. But show up. Mm-hmm. Our biggest problem is that we don't show up. And we got to show up. We got to, it's, what did Diddy say, vote or die? We got to have that kind of mentality, because somebody died to vote.
Exactly. We can't forget that. Yeah. We cannot forget that.
Blood was shed.
There was a time when, you were turned away, you were, chased down, beat up, and all that stuff just to cast a vote. So now that we have the opportunity to, we're going to choose not to. Yeah. I was looking up because I wanted to know, when they said that Barack Obama was elected, I wanted to know how many people did not vote for when the Trump election came. And it said that our Black voter turnout declined for the first time in 20 years during the Trump election. Yeah. The first time in 20 years. So we decided to show up, and it said that Black women were the number one, the highest rate. But when Barack was when he was running, it said that our turnout nearly matched the white eligible voters turnout. Hello? And then when Trump comes, it declined for the first time in 20 years. So that just shows you right there, your vote matters. Well, your vote does matter.
Okay, so there was the Hillary and Trump thing, right? He just had more money. He had more thug game. He just wiped her out. He cheated. So I'm really hoping, like, all that. It was a lot of a lot of untruths put out there. There was a lot of truths. Then there was a lot of truths twisted. So people did not do their due diligence. Excuse me. If they would have did their due diligence, they would have knew that a lot of stuff that he was saying was not true. Then they could have made a conscious decision. But that's what we're talking about when you say you looked up stuff. You looked because you want to know. So when you make a decision, you're making a decision on something, on facts, something that you have looked over, you have made a decision. And I think that's the difference. I think for this election, even though I really want to make sure that we remember local elections, because that's where our issue is.
Absolutely.
That we show up in November. Mm-hmm. If you want change, show up. If you don't want to see babies in the cage, show up. If you don't want to continue this cycle of racial division and animosity and craziness, show up. But if you don't show up, Don't talk in December. Don't talk in January. Don't talk for about 4 years about nothing, because you don't have.
I know, because it's going to be 4 years.
For 4 years.
Okay.
And then even after he's elected, say whoever wins, then there's the next elections, the local elections. Those are the ones.
Right, you have your midterms.
So you make sure you put the right person in Congress that's representing your community. You got the right representative representing your community. You check out these judges, these sheriffs. All of this is in your control.
Right. The mayor, the governor, all these things, like get to know who these people are. Who is your mayor? Who is your governor? What are their beliefs? What are their stands? And when it's time for you to vote, when those elections come up, you have an idea of who you're going to go for. And then you do have power. You do get to control who gets into office. But if you're not going and you're not even paying attention, like, yes, the presidential, that is the big one. Everybody knows they campaign about that. They pollute our airways and all that with that one. But then when it comes to like your state and local, you don't really
hear nothing.
No, okay, because they don't want you to come out. They don't want you to vote. Okay, so they don't throw it in your face like that.
But Sweet Pea, they know the process. They know if you don't show, they can put whoever they want, right?
Exactly.
And so when you try to go change something or you need something, oh no, I don't think that's important, because that was never that person's intention. And think about serving, getting people that are serving, that there to serve, not people who there for the highlights.
Right, the accolades. Exactly.
Yes, absolutely. You got a lot of people in office that's about themselves, just to say, I am this, I am that.
Yeah. Or they're doing it for a career move. They don't care about the people. They're doing it as another notch on their belt to move further and where they're trying to go. They don't care about the community or the people involved. They're just trying to get that name and that title.
Yeah, absolutely. And some people that live in the community don't serve their community. So don't get it twisted. Just because they're black or brown, check their background, because everybody is not for the community. Some people are, like we said, are for the accolades or whatever. So we have to make sure we do our homework. We have to make sure, especially judges, and because we talk about the judicial system all the time, but we let these judges in.
Right.
We let them in. So we got to take responsibility for us letting in these judges and these people that are not here to serve our kids and not serve our family and friends.
Police commissioners and these sheriffs and, you know, like we need to, the police chief, like who are these people? We need to check these people, because these are the people who are going to show up when the police officers don't do what they're supposed to do. Who do they answer to? Who do they have to go to get corrected? And if you're letting a person in office who is for police brutality or who is for, you know, them doing the no knock
warrant,
when they did that, the no knock warrant. Thank you, pregnancy brain.
No, me too, girl.
But when you're with people who are, you know, in support of these things, and you didn't vote, then you're letting these kind of people in office. You're letting these kind of people in power. Yeah. So the same thing is going to keep happening over and over.
Absolutely. We're repeating a pattern. And that's what I really hope that when I posted Yellow Pain's video about voting, because he starts off talking all this smack about they don't care, this and that. And then he breaks down the real truth at the end, the logic. And I think a lot of people, that's how they feel. They feel like it's a lost cause. But we have to continue to vote. Because we do. And I think that it has become, how can I say this? People have become comfortable.
Right.
You know, I got a car, I got a house, and if you got a man, that counts, I guess. No, just kidding. You know, I got a man, I got kids, I got a house, I got a job, right? So everybody got all this, and dudes got a babe, you know, whatever men say. So I didn't know what to say. Not a dude. But they say what they say, and then people are just comfortable with basics. But if we think about it, we should be wanting more. It's only 1% of us that got money, and they not even in the top millionaires or billionaires. Okay, so they got money where they can make it through Corona. How about that? Okay, and a lot of us don't. And when you have people that get in a certain position and they forget where they come from, that's disturbing for me. because we as regular people, I guess we're regular, we special, but anyway, non-celebrities, we support them. We go out, above and beyond for them. And when it comes to the things that affect the basic people, they're ghosts, most of them. It's not an equal support. And so we have to,
that's right.
You know what I mean? So we need to
absolutely. And that's, we kind of like wait for them to say something. We wait for celebrities. We wait for them to like speak up for us before we want to say something, but they're not dealing with the firsthand things that we're dealing with. They're not coming up against these different things. They are on another planet. Okay.
We're gonna talk about somebody on another planet later, but I don't go over there because I'm about to go there on that one. But yeah, so you know who's on another planet. We talked about before the show. So you're right. They're just and that bothers me because we buy their books.
They're not dealing with these things, so we can't wait for them to speak in the front.
There you go, girl. See, somebody, they always say when people, the devil don't want you to do something, he mess you up.
Right.
That's what folks say. So I'm just saying, because they know voting is important. But yeah, we have to support each other, right? It's important to support them, but it's also important for them to remember us too. That's how I feel. You want us to spend our money, go to your movies, buy your books and your merchandise and all these things, right? But when it comes to us, well, it'll be okay.
Right.
Things will change. All you got to do is try. Like, ain't not one black or brown person that walking this ground right now ain't trying. Right?
Okay.
So I'm just dumbfounded by some of the comments. But we really want to concentrate on the voting. We really want to make sure we do it. We really want to make sure that we do our homework. Please don't throw these away, you guys. When you get these in the mail, just take a look.
That's all it takes.
Look at it and Google. You Google everything else. You talk about Nikki having a baby. You're talking about, everybody else. I mean, no disrespect. I'm glad she's having a baby. No disrespect. But the things that we concentrate on is not for the growth of the whole community.
Exactly. We get distracted easily.
But I had to watch the news, see Nikki had a baby, so I was all in it too. So I got my nerves. But I did my other homework too. But but we have to consider everything. We just can't pick and choose and then complain and then expect someone to lift us.
Right. No, we got to do this for ourselves. We got to do it for ourselves. It has to be for us in our communities. And then tell your kids at a young age, start them off, show them that you voted, show them that you're checking candidates, show them that you're watching these different things and you're looking these things up, because then at a young age, they get in their mind like, my vote matters. My vote is important. For me, if I wouldn't have seen my grandparents do that, I probably would have been another non-voter and not even interested in none of this. But my grandparents, thank God, were voters. And they were like, look, you need to be paying attention to these things. Yeah. So teach your kids. Let them know that it is important and that it does matter, because we don't want to lose our voice completely, where it doesn't matter. You stop voting and then it won't matter.
And let me tell you something. And I posted this a while back on my page. It's going to come a time that our votes are going to be irrelevant because of minorities, because of mixed kids not saying they're black anymore. They're creating their own race. There's a lot of variables that are going to make being black less valuable.
Right.
And people need to pay attention to that too. We think, we doing this, we black this, black that, black, bi, black, be black, I'm black, she black, everybody black. But when it gets hard, everybody fades back. And so I think that we have to learn to stay up forward. We need to, look, we here. Ain't nobody going to take our spot, and we're going to represent. Because if we don't start representing, somebody else is going to fill that slot. Don't get it twisted. Right. This country is growing.
No, absolutely. Yes. And changing. And then, we got immigration and all that stuff. Yeah. So come on now.
Yeah. So it's going to be a time, and we're not making babies like we used to. Usually black folks have 5, 6 kids. You'd be lucky to get one baby out of a chick these days.
Okay.
So because it's too expensive.
That is a whole nother topic about how they are pushing birth control to us. But anyway, that's for another day.
We're going to get that too. So we're not having babies like we used to. So our population is not the same. And then we have a lot of mixed babies. No problem with the mixed babies. We have, and then you got a lot of Latinos. You got just a bunch of people. So eventually, if we don't stake our ground, we won't have a ground. And
absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I think the only thing that saves us is that we spend the most money.
Yeah, like we can't forget that our black dollar counts for a lot now.
But
yes,
we don't use it right. That's a power that is unutilized. Seriously, it's a power that's unutilized. We spend it, but we don't have nothing to show for it. When you spend money and you don't have nothing to show for it, what do we own? We don't own banks. It's a whole nother show. We better pull back to the vote.
Yeah, see, I know.
I apologize.
That is definitely something. No, we are definitely going to have to talk about that.
I better pray on that.
No, we got that. We got.
But that's an unutilized power. So we need to utilize it, and we'll do a show on that because we already talked about it. We got to use that power. And so when it comes to voting, we have to use that power too, because it's going to come a time where we won't have that power. I'm telling you, I've been doing my homework. I look, and I'm like, we're getting less and less and less and less important when it comes to voting. Mm-hmm. So we got to do something differently. We have to be different. We have to acknowledge, okay, look, we got a problem in our community, and we need to do something about it. We can't just continue to pretend like nothing's happening.
Right. No, I mean, because if we keep on going this way, we won't matter. We see that it's going to be, for a long time they were preaching that your vote doesn't matter for a long time. Right. So now it's like, now that we know that it does, and now that we know the power of it, let's change that. Let's change the tune of that, and let's go ahead and step up, and let's do these midterm elections. Let's do these congregational elections and things like that, and these state and local elections, to show them that our voice does matter, and to show them that we're ready for change. So much has happened, with the protesting and all that. So much has happened. We have a momentum that we need to keep going. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, we are seeing these things happening and these things changing that haven't happened for a very long time. We need to keep the momentum going and start making these major changes. Like, yes, the protesting was good and the rioting and all that stuff like that, but let's make it a major thing to where they can't forget about who we are and they can't let us slip through the cracks. We are going to be seen, we're going to be noticed, and we're going to be heard. Yeah.
I watch United Shades of America because my brain is like that. I'm a nerd. But it was an older gentleman on there, and he said, in order for any change to happen, it has to be earth shaking. It has to shake the earth. It has to be something that just boom. George Floyd started it. But please don't get mad at me, people, because I know people get mad at me because I say too much. I'm just so honest. But we start off hard and then we fall back to silence. Mm-hmm. We're not consistent.
It's like a little bit of change happens. Yes. And then it's like, okay, well, we're good. Like, no, we have to still keep going. A little bit of change happening does not mean that the overall this thing is a mountain, and we're just chipping away at the mountain. You can't take a couple of chips off and then think we're good. No, we got to keep going. Like, this thing really needs to be hit.
Right. We're losing our kids to the streets. We're losing them to jail. And this is something that that's how it is. No, it ain't how it gotta be. It doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
Well, we can't change and save everybody, but we can put a big dent in that. At least that's how I believe, because I think I can save everybody. Little Mother Teresa.
No, look, I mean, at how much has changed with the protesting that was happening. Look how much has changed with that. So if we continue to do that, what more can be done? Like, that whole we can't do anything, this is how it is and all that. We proved that it can change. It was proven that it can change. So we're showing right there that statement of we can't do anything is not true, or that it has to be the same. It's not true.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got to fight like how they were fighting back in the day. We got to keep that up. We got to keep doing how they were doing. Yeah. They were relentless. And they were not being stopped by dogs, water hoses, none of that threats. You taking their people away, locking them up. Yeah,
water hose be scrapping, so I'm going to jail. So I'm just telling you right now, because you can put no dog water hose on me. They were so obedient though to the training. And see, that's the difference in them and us. We're not going to take that. We're not going to do that. But they took whatever was needed so that the next generation can be blessed from their efforts.
Absolutely.
And so we got to a place where we like, oh, we got enough. We cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. We're not cool. I do want my reparations. We're not, and no, you didn't own slaves, but I still want my money.
You want your 40 acres and a mule.
I sure do, because I want to build something with it, a business with it. But anyway, so we talk about that all the time. We talk about all the things we demand and all the things that we want. Voting can get that money too, right? You put the right people in place, the right conscious people in place. Write up a little bill. Have it go, try to make it a log, and do whatever, little steps. But if you have the right people in place, we would. Reason why we didn't have that getting paid is because we had the right people in place. That should have been done. Generations.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Jewish community. Okay, they have what happened with them. So why can't we do that? Why can't we
have the right people in place?
Exactly.
That fight for them.
Exactly.
We don't have that. And I'm not, no disrespect to some of the current day leaders, or those that are coming up to be leaders, but I really wish I was around Malcolm and them, Martin, because the way they thought and the way they moved, and I know we can never, have that moment again. However, we can have our own moment in our own time with our own people. We can do it. Like, we can do it with a different generation twist, or however you want to say it.
Exactly. Because there are people that have that same way of thinking.
Yes.
And there are people that are on that same mentality, but they're afraid. So when we get a person like that, we need to 100% support them. Yeah. Okay. So some people are thinking that that Kanye West is that person. I want to know, are you voting for Kanye?
Because let me tell you something. First of all, he's a distraction. And I usually don't talk about mentally ill people because that is a form of an ailment. But what I saw was so disrespectful. It wasn't even a fact that, it wasn't a fact that he didn't know what he was talking about. It wasn't the fact that he was rambling. It was a fact that he was dismantling us. He was picking us apart. He was destroying our history. I was so offended.
For those of you that maybe you don't know what was going on with Kanye West, he did a campaign rally. And, he said he's running for president. He's attempting to run for president is what I should say. He's attempting to get enough votes and all that stuff to run for president. And during his campaign rally, he jumped from different topics. Right. But one of the things that, everybody is like focusing on is that he said some things about Harriet Tubman, saying that, she didn't free the slaves. She only moved them to different, to work for different white people, things like that. So that's kind of what I'm referring to when I said, are you going to vote for Kanye?
Yeah, no. And he lost I cannot even believe he even tried it. I was done with him when he said slavery was a choice. I thought Van on TMZ was going to knock him out. Van was like, I saw that show. I was like, get him, Van, get him. But Van didn't do it. But he stepped over to the other side. But I was done when he said that.
Yeah.
And this is another thing about our dollars. Here's a you know, he's when he first came out, he was all black. I don't know what happened. I think when, you know, I'm not going to judge, but whatever happened, happened. However, his perception of things are just so distorted. And I really don't like to be hard on because it's been told that he has mental issues or whatever. So I'm not trying to like ban him like that, but he should not be allowed to speak on certain subjects. And I think that his friends and even his wife, you know, should like, hey, baby, and maybe they can't control him. Because some people that, you know how you have that crazy cousin, everybody said, just leave him alone. He crazy because, you know, you can't control him. You know,
right.
So he may be one of those people that you can't tell anything to. But what is interesting is that every time he talks about us, and the other stuff he's talking about is irrelevant. I don't know what the heck he was talking about. The party and all that. Oh, God, pray for him. But when he talks about our history, he continues to dismantle it. He tears it apart. He tries to make it not relevant. That's my problem with him. Because there's no way no black person can say slavery was a choice. Really? So we chose to get in a boat, get shackled to the bottom with no food, no water, to get off the boat, to get beat, sold, raped, and used. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We just right? Like,
I feel like, you know, for me, sometimes I see like, okay, I kind of get, because I'm going to play the devil's advocate for a little bit. So I can kind of see some of the things that he's attempting to say. I think that the way he says it comes off wrong. However, should he be put in a place to run for president at this time? No, we don't need that. No. We do not need that right now. You know, with everything that's going on, we have some serious things that are going on in our communities. We do not need that right now. And it's kind of the way Trump did with the building the wall thing. And he kind of threw that on everybody. And that made him be, you know, it's like that. I feel like that's what's going on here is he says these crazy comments that gets people distracted. And then you have people that are really actually attempting to vote for him. They're like, yeah, I can see him be president. It's like, oh my gosh, what is going on?
Well, I think that is a testimony to the people, because first of all, I think no more celebrities should be in the White House, period.
Yeah, right.
Period. I don't know what they, you know, somebody said, oh, Trump had a great business record, but Mr. Trump has filed bankruptcy more than anybody in the United States. No, I'm just kidding. He's got a lot of bankruptcies. So when we talk about having people in the place, we have people to know about politics in place. When you know people who knows how to move through politics, right? We need to have people that understand how to negotiate, how to communicate. We don't need those celebrities in the office no more.
No, because it's not just about us. You know, they now have to deal with other countries and negotiate with other countries. How are you going to do that if you have no type of knowledge of that? I mean, come on now. We're putting our lives in the hands of people who have no knowledge of how politics work, how to talk to different countries, how to negotiate and all these things. And we cannot afford that.
Now, I don't know which part about Kanye that you kind of agree with, but let me be perfectly clear. Slavery was not a choice.
No, I don't. That's okay. So
let's be clear on that.
I don't agree with that part of Kanye, and I don't agree with, you know, him saying what he said about Harriet Tubman. But for me, like, I didn't watch just the clips. I watched the entire thing. And, you know, he had some different points about how the media runs things and how the media preys on our community and things like that. Now that I agree with. Those things I agree with.
Why they do though? Because we don't know. We all off of voting. We gotta get back on voting. Okay. Okay.
Well, so, Kanye is campaigning for president.
Yeah, that's true. So, you know, but you know, it's always been that way, right? And I think the reason why it's that way is because it's a way to create a fear of our people. Right? When a black person does something, it's real big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, they did that. Oh, he shot. But we don't do the real crazy stuff. Like when the dude in Washington, he was killing everybody, the sniper, and everybody kept saying he ain't black. It was a couple of years back.
Oh,
way back.
I know. Yeah, right.
And
I was so
being
shocked.
Like I said, black people don't do that. It was like,
Right.
oh, you can't say that no more.
I was like super shocked at that one.
So
Yeah.
I think it's a lot to that, but the media has a job to do. And regardless of, I don't think that's an important issue for him to be running for president for. Oh, no, stupid media.
Yeah.
Let's be clear on that. And he's in them. He creates news. He walks into the media. So what is he talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He creates the chaos to bring them to him. So you can't talk about them and then be part of the problem. So we have to pick and choose what we're going to be complaining about. And so that's just how I feel about it. I was done when he, and you're stuck. I was just done when he talked about slavery. I was done. Anyway.
But doing that. He's definitely not.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So
So it'll get better. So, so it's important to vote because our time is running out. No more Mr. West. He don't deserve any more time.
Right. That's probably why it cut off.
Yeah, because God was like, that's enough of that craziness. Right. But but we need to concentrate on voting. And it's easy when you talk about voting to other subjects come in play, right? Because
absolutely.
Voting, we talk about this, we talk about that, because voting affects a lot of different things.
Right. Absolutely. It has to deal with your schooling. It has to deal with even sending your kids off to school, who is going to be over those decisions and things like that. So these are things that we definitely need to be focused on. Is like what we were saying. Yes, the presidential election is important, but we need to think about those that come up during midterm, those that come up with state and local, because the state and local elections can be various times during the year. So when you get those things and they tell you that, it's coming up, make sure you go. Yes, make sure you go and you vote. Make sure if you are not sure about who's running or what they're running for, that you go and you look it up and you fact check and you see what they're about, their decisions are. What other things have they been when they're campaigning and they're talking, what other things have they been involved in? This lets you know the type of person that you're voting for, and then take your time out and do it. Make sure you go and vote. And we definitely don't want to forget about the absentee ballot.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said, a lot of people, coronavirus, everybody's, I don't want to go around other people. Well, you just request it online. She's going to post it. And just make sure you complete everything. Make sure all the signatures are there. Do not leave out anything. Because if you leave out anything, it does not count. So please.
Right, and that is vote.org. I'm going to put that, make sure we put that in the comments, vote.org. You still have time to get your absentee ballot. You still have time. So make sure that is something that you prioritize, especially with the COVID-19 going on. You don't want to come to the point where it's already November, it's already time to vote, and you don't have a polling station to go to, or you don't have anywhere that you're too afraid maybe about the COVID-19 to go out there and vote. Do not miss out. It's vote.org to get your absentee ballot, and you still have time for that.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize. You can go to Vote or Die. They have it too. You can register on Vote or Die. There's various websites where you can register to vote. Yes. And I know she's talking about November. Sweet Pea was talking about November, but there's a lot of local elections that come up. In Florida and Duval, we got August. See? Mm-hmm. So for our local elections, we got school district, we got judge, we got state representative, we got Congress representative. All those are taking place soon. So we have you got elections coming up before November, and you're going to have some after November, right?
Right, absolutely.
And so make sure if you got something before November, no matter what state you're in, show up. If you're not,
yes,
you cannot go physically, get an absentee ballot. But show up. That's the whole thing. Like, we can go on and on about why you should do it and why it's important and all these things, but it's your life. Your life matters. If your life
yes,
matters to you, if your kids' life matter to you, your parents, I do everything, like, because my parents' needs are different. So it's important for me to make sure that there's things in place for those needs. If I don't
right,
vote and I go to a doctor's office or I go to a rehab center and I'm demanding this, well, it's not available in your community. I have been told,
right,
I've been taking care of my dad. If I go on the south side, I can do it, but it's not available on the west side. That means we didn't do our job on the west side.
right, right.
Why do I got to cross a bridge? Because no one on my side of town did their job, right? And,
Right.
and including, and it could have been my parents too. I'm just saying, in general, I'm not just saying, So we have to be present in everything. We just can't pick and choose. Oh, I would just vote for the president and the rest of it is irrelevant. It all works together. Everything,
Right. It all comes together.
it just
Exactly.
works together. It's like a wheel. It just works together. You right? And we got to change things. And the biggest thing out here in Florida is that we passed the law that felons were allowed to vote.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still fighting it. How can you fight a law that got signed, got passed, and you're still blocking them? That's because we didn't have the right representatives in place. No disrespect to anybody. And we didn't have the right person in Congress. Because we should not be going back and forth. Our governor, what's up? Like, you don't wear a mask. Exactly. So get off of that one. But I'm sorry. But, we don't have anything in place to protect our needs. And we have to do that. We can't just vote for the president and think, oh, hallelujah, we're saved.
No, because we saw what happened with Obama. We saw what happened. We voted for president, but nothing else. And then everything he said gets caught up and gets shut down. So you see how important it is to make sure those steps are met. Like those steps leading up to president are met. So make sure you are paying attention. And it doesn't take that much time to go and look up who is running. You Google their name and their whole history and everything that they have done. You can find all of that stuff out. Absolutely. All you have to do is Google their name. You can fact check. It's not hard.
Because I was Googling the other lady and Nikki came.
Yeah, see, and it comes up anyway. Like you can.
So, you can even keep up with your celebrity news and still do your political work, right?
Exactly. It will be on the same page. It'll pop same bubble.
So you're not losing out. You can do both, right? But it's important to do your due diligence. That's one of the biggest things I want to say. Don't listen to Facebook. Don't listen to the everything that's on Facebook because there's a lot of
right because they pay for those. Facebook. They can definitely pay for those slots.
Yes, absolutely. So like she said, they pay for the slots. It's fake. Some news is true, some news is not. People have died on Facebook that's been still alive, so we know that it happens. So do your homework. If somebody says something and you kind of like, well, no, do your homework. And I'm not just talking to Black people. I'm talking to white people too. Everybody, do your homework. Yeah. Sometimes people go, well, we don't have the same problems. Basically, we do. You're jobless because of Corona. You're unemployment because of Corona. Mm-hmm. The food prices continue to go up.
Right. They're not doing unemployment. So they're about to shut all that off. We're all going to be on the same playing field.
Yeah. So hopefully, as we grow and we trust each other, I had a professor, he used to always say, if you want a Black person not to do something, he's one of my history professor. He said, put it in a book or have another Black person tell him. Mm-hmm. And I was so offended. I was like, what you talking about? He said, because we'll take a message from someone else before we'll take it from our own people. Mm-hmm. And so what I say this to say is that we have some great voices, not just ours. There's other people on here that have great topics. They got great information. I'm a fan of Cannon Class ever since he's been in Harvard. So I was like, I understood where he was coming from. A lot of people didn't, but I read that book. You know, I'm a scholar like that. I mean, because I'm nosy, I want to know stuff, and I knew where he was coming from. I knew he was explaining the reference. But what I'm saying is that we cannot limit ourselves. We have to, even we got to take a hit. We got to start getting back into reading, getting back into being focused. Not just like everything got to be about politics and stuff, but we got to know what's going on around us. We just can't keep existing, or we're going to disappear.
Right. Exactly. Absolutely facts. So I hope that you guys got some good information from us. Yes, we definitely like to joke and play and everything like that. But, you know, what we say is very important as far as it comes to this voting thing. And we hope that you were able to learn something that you didn't know. I mean, I absolutely didn't know about the absentee ballot. A misconception. So maybe you're like me and you learned something new today. So I hope that you did. We definitely want to keep the conversation going. I did post a question about, does your vote matter? How do you feel about that? So make sure you comment down below. Always show some love and share.
Absolutely.
Make sure you show some love and share. And we will definitely stay tuned with the comments so that we can answer any question that you may have or any information that we can help you with. We're here for that. So thank you guys for tuning in and watching with us again.
Yes, thank you. And don't forget to vote. Take your family, take your dog, your cat. I'm just kidding.
Right. Take somebody with you when you go. Okay. Do not go alone.
Help them fill out the ballot if they can't see. Do your part. As
Absolutely.
You see, we both got glasses, so we ready for our ballots.
Okay, hello. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching with us. Make sure you join us again next Tuesday. We will come with another topic, and we will see you next time.
Yes, knowledge is power. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Absolutely. Bye.